Do you remember seeing these all over your feed? People recreating the quote-unquote Wes Anderson style, with videos titled, "You better not act like you're in a Wes Anderson film when blank," or something like that. It was a popular trend for a while, and I know what you're thinking. You were a fan before it blew up. You watched The Life Aquatic when it was released in theaters. You had The Isle of Dogs on Blu-ray. You wanted to see The French Dispatch before you knew Timothée Chalamet was in it. You're a real fan, not one of these trend followers. But how can you prove to everyone that you're better than them by being a true film aficionado and not a part of the herd? By annoying them with facts of Wes Anderson, of course. We all kind of refer to it as the Wes Anderson look. But did you know that his unique style of mise-en-scene has an official term? Planimetric staging. Planimetric meaning the study of angles and areas, and staging as, well, staging. This occurs when the camera is placed perpendicular to the central subject, creating a frame that practically mirrors itself at its midpoint. It's amazing to Google planimetric staging and see examples of just how many times it's used throughout his films. You may have noticed a lot of reoccurring actors throughout Wes Anderson's catalog, such as Willem Dafoe, Edward Norton, or Tilda Swinton. In fact, as he writes, he always has specific actors in mind for the roles he's planning, as is the case with Bill Murray, who's now appeared in 10 of his 11 films. Murray and Anderson have such a connection, in fact, that when it came to Wes Anderson's second feature-length film, Rushmore, Bill Murray offered to take the lowest wage legally possible to be in the film because he loved the plot so much. And considering the director was still trying to find his footing in the realm of Hollywood and was hindered to a tight budget, that was a big help from Murray. But when Disney wouldn't pay for a $25,000 helicopter scene for the movie, Murray stepped in again, writing a check for the fee, which was never cashed, but he was willing to have a net loss of $16,000 for the role. But in return, gaining a great friend. Speaking of friends, Wes Anderson and Owen Wilson's friendship goes all the way back to 1989 at the University of Texas. As Anderson recalls, telling The Hollywood Reporter, "Owen just walked up to me in the hall one day and started talking to me as if we knew each other. They quickly bonded after discussing their playwright class and over their shared appreciation of Martin Scorsese. Soon, after moving in with each other, they filmed their first short film, Bottle Rocket, which also became their first feature-length film. In the Darjeeling Limited, Owen Wilson's fourth collaboration with the director, his character Francis sustains a constant limp, springing from a previous motorcycle accident. To get this limp, instead of trying to imitate it, Wilson just puts a lime in his shoe to make himself walk unevenly. I just really hope it wasn't the same lime for the months of filming, because gross. But what isn't gross is the stylish luggage used in the Darjeeling Limited. That was a good segue, right? As the three brothers in the film travel across India, they bring their belongings encased in these distinctive brown bags, with its palm trees and safari animals embossed across the side. It's a unique looking design that easily catches the eye, and for Italian entrepreneur Alberto Favoretto, it was a perfect business opportunity, creating his own Wes Anderson inspired luggage. And so I suppose if you're a really big fan and you don't like the idea of saving money, by all means. The narrative behind Anderson films are somewhat hard to describe. With dry humor and a seemingly innocent nature, it's as if they're teetering between childhood and adulthood, as the characters maintain a childlike wonder even under the coercion of adult-like themes. With this in mind, it may make more sense to hear that one of Anderson's greatest influences was the classic comic strip Peanuts by Charles Schulz. More specifically, the 1965 A Charlie Brown Christmas. There are subtle references to the animated short throughout Anderson's films, such as the stagnant dancing in Fantastic Mr. Fox, or in numerous scenes in Rushmore, but this influence is predominantly seen throughout Moonrise Kingdom, a story of young love between a boy and a little red-haired girl.
I can't believe I'm about to talk to the little red-haired girl.
Also, the dog is named Snoopy. Movie memorabilia is always sought out after production has concluded, and apparently during the film's production as well. The hawk that is used as Mordecai the Hawk in the Royal Tenenbaums was actually held for ransom during the movie's filming, Apparently, after losing the bird, a message appeared from somebody residing in New Jersey, claiming that they had found the hawk. And along with this claim was a demand for money in order to return it. But as the saying goes,
we don't negotiate with terrorists.
A rule Anderson must follow because they got a second hawk instead of pleading to the captor's demands. However, they were unable to find a bird that looked similarly enough to the original, therefore the script had to be altered to address the drastic change in Mordecai's color.
I wonder what happened to him.
I don't know. Sometimes if a person has a traumatic experience, their hair turns white.
Wes Anderson films have a unique ability to feel almost otherworldly, while also maintaining an element of authenticity. In Fantastic Mr. Fox, the production was keen on maintaining authenticity even in a stop-motion picture. For instance, when it came to puppet design, every artifact used was made from real materials. Mr. Fox's suit is part of Wes Anderson's suit, human hair is used on human puppets, and fox hair is used on fox puppets. Okay, that last one is a lie, it's goat hair. But anyway, it isn't just the puppet design that follows this theme, but even the voiceover process. Instead of recording solely in a studio, actors were encouraged to record their lines in locations similar to the ones that would be in the movie. You can find behind the scenes footage on YouTube of George Clooney reciting his lines while running in circles, standing in a horse trailer, or sitting on a four-wheeler. Another notable trait from Fantastic Mr. Fox is the movie's innate measure to do anything but cuss, by instead simply saying the word cuss. It's a creative workaround that adds humor for all ages. For adults who can naturally fill in the blanks of what the cuss stands for, and for the children who find the word cuss to be funny and rebellious. Some examples include,
"The cuss you are."
The cuss am I? Are you cussing with me?
No, you cussing with me?
Don't cuss and point
You're
at me.
gonna cuss with somebody, you're not gonna cuss with me, you little cuss.
Me.
This is gonna be a total cluster cuss.
What the cuss is he burning?
When writing the script, Wes Anderson and co-writer Noah Baumbach, sorry, I may be butchering that, they wanted to keep the film at a PG rating, but also wanted a specific line of profanity in the film. Thinking of a way to make it possible, they said, why not just put the word cuss for cuss words? Finding the idea hilarious, they then began to write freely, replacing the swears as they wrote. Although, admittedly, this caused them to curse a lot more in the original script than initially planned. Have you ever been watching a movie and say, hey, the little black bars are there in this shot, and the next one, they aren't? Christopher Nolan is probably the most well-known director to do this. His aspect ratios often change throughout because he uses multiple different analog cameras for different scenes, which, unlike modern cameras, these analog cameras have a fixed aspect ratio. However, when it comes to the Grand Budapest Hotel, it was done as a stylistic choice instead of a technological limit. 1985 is 1.85 by 1, 1968 is 2.35 by 1, and the scenes taking place in the 30s are shot in 1.37 by 1. Each ratio depicts their respective time period. In other words, a typical TV of the 1930s would have a 1.37 ratio. It's a subtle nod to the history of filmmaking and a unique way of showing the viewers that we're in a different time period, adding to the film's authenticity. That's not the only way Anderson brings authenticity to the Grand Budapest Hotel. He also does so by using local hospitality workers. The staff extras are actual hotel staff from Hotel Boers located in Görlitz, Germany. I'm sorry, I'm doing so bad with pronunciations, which is where much of the filming was done and where the actors and crew members stayed. That alone is a unique move for a director. Not just the hotel staff, but booking out a hotel for your actors to live in for months during filming, that of which can take a percentage of the production's budget. But apparently, according to those close to Anderson, that's a regular habit for his film sets, as it turns it into a bonding experience for the crew, therefore creating a better on-screen chemistry. And finally, here's a couple life aquatic facts given in rapid succession because none of them really stood out to me and I didn't want to put all the time diving into them. Pun intended. Cate Blanchett, who plays as pregnant character Jane Winslet Richardson, was actually pregnant during the time of filming.
And then they put the plaster cast on you, which is quite restrictive, so you can't breathe very well. And I fainted.
and I don't faint, and I thought that was really strange. And then about a week later, I discovered I was pregnant, and Wes was accusing me of being a method actor.
Bill Murray, who plays as oceanographer Steve Zissou, became a certified diver for the film, completing over 40 hours of dive time. The film is based upon French diver Jacques, renowned ocean explorer and co-inventor of the aqua lung, which explains the reasoning behind the stylish red beanie the crew wears in the film. If the underwater stop-motion sequence seems familiar to you, it may be because it was done by Henry Selick, the director of The Nightmare Before Christmas. Matthew Gray Gubler, who apparently is also a main character in Criminal Minds, sorry, I've never watched it, plays as Steve Zissou's intern in the film. While in real life, Gubler was employed as Anderson's own unpaid intern, receiving school credit as he went to NYU Film School. Ending in slow motion is somewhat of a trademark for Wes Anderson. 7 of his 10 films end in doing so, Life Aquatic being one of them. Sorry, I'm just throwing this one in here because I don't know where else to put it. Wes Anderson is obviously a unique guy. Some may classify him as an awkward weirdo. Some may call him a stereotypical film nerd. And some may say, what's the difference? But there's no question that his distinctive characteristics are what set his pieces apart from conventional modern Hollywood. And especially during a time where Marvel has been ruling the box office with the same recycled plotline, awkward and weird can be quite refreshing. I suggest you check out any of the films I talked about today, whether for the first time or for a rewatch, or you can just watch this video with your friends as you like and subscribe. That'd be pretty fun too.